So you're left in this massive wormhole after watching Evangelion. Most people who have watched the show were confused, angered, depressed, and were left with this big feeling of longing. No matter how many fan theories were thought up, you still felt lost. There had to be some explanation to the ending, other than what was seen at face value. Then, End of Evangelion comes along, and everything was explained. Couldn't say that with a straight face. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ocean Planet. My name is WK, and today we're going to be talking about the end of Evangelion. Let's dive in. The movie begins with Shinji masturbating. I see you're not ready, Shinji. We'll come back to you. So besides that riveting scene that you just got, you go into Eva with a ton of questions to character motives, or what the origin of the Evas are, or what even are the Evas. Essentially, how the plot goes, however, is that after the defeat of the Angels, and with Gendo pretty much holding every single card in his hand, Seal, or Seal, I'm not too sure how to say it, decides to put into effect the Human Instrumentality Project, and first order of business is the eradication of all Nerve members. A gruesome and bloody onslaught ensues. With Shinji and Asuka emotionally and physically out of commission, you really see how much hope is truly lost. This looming cloud of fear and anxiety as Seal militants are storming the gates. The movie itself is actually split into two sections, almost as if they were episodes, even though they called them such in the movies. If you need a single description of what the first episode is about, quite simply, death. The second half I'm not going to talk nearly as much about, but this section is what Hideki Anno is known for. Mind fuck. The characters for the most part stay relatively the same, but the overall personalities get a massive overhaul, and some even take straight U-turns in terms of their actions. Misato goes full-on G.I. Joe commando, Asuka goes from frail mindsets to bloodthirsty, Rei goes from a mysterious and attached individual to this eventual suspension, Gendo turns from this stone-cold personality to almost vulnerable, and Shinji goes from to In the case of Shinji, after seeing his character going through this development, and you're finally starting to see a change in his character, he deconstructs himself in a matter of seconds, mostly due to this scene. It's funny though, characters you fell in love with, characters that you believed to have more development, or wanted to have more development, are gone, killed, no remorse, and no regret. Due to this, End of Eva wasn't generally well received. Fans stood up in confusion, wondering why? Why the horror? Why the gruesomeness to my favorite characters? However, this is exactly what Hideki Anno wanted. He didn't pull any punches or emotions. Most of the characters literally fall in the category of too young to die. And that's how it should be. Yes, the rebuild films might be considered as a cop-out to the fans, as another ending to the show, but I disagree. Unlike games like Mass Effect 3, who had a major backlash after its lackluster ending, which eventually led to BioWare having to expand on the topic, the rebuilds to me are really just a different way to receive Eva, a different mindset, something easier, and I use easy very, very lightly. I don't actually know if that was the intention, but that's what I think at least. Animation department wise, you get to see how much budget Gainax was actually given this time around. Dear God, does it look good, and I can only imagine how the show would have looked if it was this budgeted. The covering of mouths and still frames are for the most part gone. With how well the fight scenes are portrayed, it's a different feel than the show though. Stabs, jabs, cracks, blood, all of these are shown through pure aesthetical beauty, and even comes across as scary at some points. There's a scene where something is ripped in half and blood is pouring, and you can't help but feel amazed and disgusted all simultaneously. But even better is how the symbolic images are shown. Gritty uses of red and black, or vagrant scenes of white, are weaved together perfectly. The images portrayed are drawn masterfully and almost has reminiscence of books like Dante's Inferno or even artists like Wayne Barlow. Music department wise is more standard fare, but how it's used is phenomenal. Grand orchestral scores in English and even light classical pieces, even uses of a light piano, set up the scenes in such stupor. Every track darkens the mood deeper and deeper until you hit Dark Souls level of depression and shade. Themes are really a difficult demon altogether. There's a feeling of omnipotence and fear hovering everywhere in this movie. In my last review, I focused more on a religious theme aspect, but how anyone can make their own theme and interpret it in their own way with just how much material is left. End of Evangelion, though, throws in a huge monkey wrench into everything. One scene can have a cross with eyeballs, one may have a tree of life. Then all of a sudden there's a picture and a live action shot of Japan with no explanation whatsoever. And it's like, what the fuck? You've spent time to get closure and all of a sudden everything shatters before your eyes and you gotta pick every piece back together again. Of course you can kind of piece it together if you keep up with it, but it might take multiple viewings just to even get some cementing to your thought process. And it's awesome. Your ability to take the movie in any which way gives you almost this pretentious level of satisfaction when all the gears finally start to mesh, almost as the movie is saying, "Good boy, who's a good boy?" In reality, there's not really any closure though with End of Eva, but that's what I truly love about it. It gives you discussion points for days, weeks, months, even years. Did you feel depressed at the end? Did you feel uplifted? Did you feel dirty? Did you feel cleansed? Is it a work of pure art, or is it too complex to be considered anything at all? I truly felt like I needed to take a shower just to cleanse myself after watching the movie, because in reality, you don't know how to feel, and back into the wormhole we go. There is no happy ending, but who cares? Movies in any form should not be fluffy if they're not meant to be. Demolition D+ said it the best. This movie makes you feel weird, but no movie has ever done that before. With all that being said, End of Evangelion gets a score of 9.99, repeating of course, out of 10, with the ultimate recommendation to watch the movie directly following the completion of Neon Genesis Evangelion, and a bye. But until next time, keep swimming.